Hi, I'm Tonya Caruso. Welcome to Comcast Local Edition, working to provide the best care possible for our servicemen and women. Joining us in our studios this half hour is Dr. Susan Lephart. She is the president of the Airlift Research Foundation. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Thanks very much for having me, Tonya. I appreciate the opportunity.
This is an amazing organization, and people at home may be surprised to know just how much you are needed in the community.
Thank you. We really are relatively new. We're based in Pittsburgh, but we have a national reach. We were founded in 2008, really because there was a need for increased research in the area of extremity limb trauma. And also we're here to foster the careers of young scientists to help them shed light on some of the most difficult and complicated problems in orthopedic medicine.
So when we look at things right now, we have so many men and women in the war and in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan losing their limbs and extremities, but you're saying the research dollars really aren't there. There's not a lot of research in this area.
Exactly. It's really an underfunded area. And particularly when you realize that 82% of all the injuries in Iraq and Afghanistan involve the extremities. Unfortunately, the research in this area has not been able to keep up with the numbers and types of injuries that we're experiencing in these two conflicts. And it's really leaving these men and women to face a whole new battle, one of recovery and rehabilitation and reentry to civilian life or return to duty.
And so how do you help? What specifically does your organization do?
Our organization really is focused on funding the research and also increasing public awareness. We feel like if we can increase public awareness of this, people will have a much better understanding of the need for the research. So the two really go hand in hand. We really have realized that if we can benefit with the research that we're doing to the military, we as civilians will also benefit in the long run.
As we continue to talk, we're putting on the screen website and phone number where folks can go for more information.
Great.
As you are doing this, do you have contact with soldiers, and what's kind of been the reaction from them?
We're fortunate enough to have on our board of directors a Wounded Warrior representative who's just joined us and is giving us some very good feedback specific to making sure that our research really is something that can make a difference, can truly change the treatment and the difference in the treatment of care for all of these individuals. Yeah. We also are fortunate enough to have a colonel who's an advisor to the board, who is a military orthopedic surgeon based at Brooke Army Medical Center. So we really are getting a lot of very good direct feedback so that we know that the research that we're funding can potentially change some lives.
Right. And you've recently have just awarded some grants, correct?
Correct. We just have finished our first research grant cycle, which we're very excited about. We have been able to fund 2 young investigators. One is based in University of Texas, Houston, and the other is at Rhode Island Trauma Hospital. They're both looking at similar types of projects because infection and bone injuries are pretty significant with all these types of trauma. One is really looking specifically at healing bone and addressing the infection. The other is really looking at how you can stabilize fractures and reduce the amount of infection and create a lot more stable bone afterwards.
Yeah. Now, your push, because you see how underfunded, how surprised were you when you began to realize how underfunded this area of research is?
Quite surprised. I think we all realize that the young men and women coming back from these conflicts are having their lives changed. We really are hoping to breathe hope into their lives because they're coming back with life-changing injuries, and we'd like to be able, through the research that we're funding, to provide some hope for them moving forward. I was very aware of the traumatic brain injuries and the PTSD that's coming back from these conflicts. I think hand in hand with those things, we're finding that the extremity trauma is as significant, if not more so, relative to the numbers. And the ages and types of injuries, the ages of these warriors that are coming back are going to have to deal with a great deal of things moving forward.
Well, Dr. Lephart, it's an amazing organization. We thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today. We certainly do appreciate it.
Thank you so much again for having me, Tonya. I do truly appreciate it.
You're so welcome. I'm Tonya Caruso. Thanks for watching Comcast Local Edition. We'll send you back now to HLN.